Hey guys, welcome back to PropShop. Today we're talking about college basketball betting basics. First thing you need to know, this isn't the NBA, kids. You need to do your research. There are over 350 college teams spread out over 32 conferences. What does that mean? You cannot possibly know everything about every team in college basketball. Big difference between the NBA because theoretically you can. First things first, how do you bet on college basketball? The spread bet, still king. Other popular ways to bet still include straight bets like the money line and totals, but something that's become more popular in recent years are player props and parlays, which are essentially several bets made up into one big bet slip. Other things you need to know. When is the best time to bet on college basketball? The best time to bet on college basketball is typically just before tip-off. Why? These are not professional players. These are still student athletes, and colleges tend to be very particular about when they release injury reports. Also, several conferences don't have any rules about when teams need to release injury reports. So right before tip-off, make sure you know which players are in the game and which aren't. Next thing you need to know, the difference between a home team and an away team. Crowds in college basketball are not the same crowds that are in the NBA. The arenas tend to be smaller, there tend to be fewer people, but these are students. They're wild. Half of them might be drunk. Home crowds in college basketball are big advantages. Make sure you're paying attention to them. Something else you need to know, colleges, again, are not professional teams. When a college needs to take a road trip, it tends to be much shorter. Players are juggling homework, they're juggling their personal lives. So a 24-hour road trip across the country is much more difficult to take as a college player as opposed to an NBA player. The next thing to be aware of are team records. College basketball records are not indicative of team strength. Sometimes a team from a Power 5 conference or another strong conference might be 8-4. That does not necessarily mean that they are worse than a team from a smaller conference that went 11-1. Why? Quality of opponents. What does this mean? You need to take special care in evaluating teams, the strengths of their opponents, and the strengths of their conferences. Some good resources to use are Ken Pom rankings and the Sagarin rankings. Make sure you study them carefully and make sure you know the strength of each team, their conference, and their opponents. Which brings me to my next point. You need to make sure that you evaluate each conference's strength. It's no secret there are bigger, stronger conferences with better teams than there are smaller conferences with weaker teams and weaker schedules and weaker opponents. For example, the 6th best team in the Big Ten, which right now is Illinois, they might still be a top 25 team and they compete against regularly ranked programs. However, the best team in the Summit League might not even be a top 100 teams, and any of their opponents might not be 100 teams. These are things you need to take consideration and you need to make sure that you're aware of before you start placing your bets. So what's the main takeaway here? Just because a team is 14-4 in a soft conference doesn't mean they're better than a team that's 10-8 in a strong conference. Make sure you're keeping your eyes on these disparities. Thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and make sure to follow us for more videos so you can learn how to make the best bets possible.